Hello and welcome to Do It Yourself Musician. Today I'm having a look at my number one guitar here. This is a Fender Telecaster. Specifically, this is the American Special Telecaster, and I bought this one in, I think, what was this? Yeah, 2012. So it's not really that old, about 3 years old, I guess. After I bought this rapidly became my number one guitar. This is a great guitar. Weighs about, I think, 6.5 pounds. It's very resonant. You can hear it just acoustically. It's very loud. And it's not too heavy. Like I said, about 6.5 pounds. It's a great guitar. I mean, I fell in love with it when I first got it. Did some modifications to it though, just to make it, more more to my liking. The big thing being that I switched the plate around here. It's held up well. Got a couple of little dings. I think there's some strap wear, and of course I always ding it down here. I ding all my guitars up around the jack down there. And modifications I've done to it. I mean, the body and everything is still Fender. I changed the saddles to, these are Glendale compensated saddles, which is something I pretty much do on every Tele I've ever owned or had for a while. I do that to it. I flipped the control plate over, mostly because I just, I strum a lot. I don't, I play lead stuff, but I do a lot of rhythm stuff, and I usually come down and whack the switch over. So I just flip the control plate around. I did change out the pickups. And when I did that, that's when I actually swapped the control plate around. I put Klein 67 Tele pickups in this, which are fantastic. The pickups in it were cool, but these things come with really hot pickups. I think the bridge that I took out of here, the Texas Special bridge, read something like 15 or 16 K. That's like super overwhelmed, which makes it really mid-rangey and hot, which is great for overdriving an amp. But I typically don't play with amp overdrive. Generally, it's more of the pedals, and I play with Fender amps a lot, and it was just a little too bright for me. If I was playing through a Marshall or something, I might not have actually worried about it. Or trying to drive an AC30 had been perfect, but that's not really what I'm doing. So these pickups are better. And the only other really thing I did to it was I changed the wiring when I put the pickups in, because the American Special comes with the grease bucket, which I didn't care for a whole lot. When I roll my volume down, I like the fact that the tone gets a little darker. The grease bucket preserves your highs when you roll your volume down. This is the first guitar I've had that really had that, and after a while, that's kind of maybe the only thing I didn't like about it, actually. That and, pickups. But so I switched the electronics around, and I also put these Fender control knobs on it, which are the flat tops. I didn't care for the round tops that came on it, because I think these are more, because the American Special is trying to be a late 60s Telecaster. It's got this kind of logo, which is a late 60s 70s thing, and I believe in that era that's when they had the flat top knob. Somebody might correct me on that, but I think the knob is actually more correct. These are Fender knobs. I just bought a set and put them on, and that's actually why I'm looking at this today, is because the volume knob got loose and came off. And I noticed that the nut that holds on the pot here was a little loose. And I've been cranking on that thing, and I'm just going to open it up and see. Hopefully I didn't mess up anything inside of it, because, you know, the pots are, there's wiring between them, plus the capacitor goes between them. But it works fine. It's like there's just no sign of anything happening to it. But I don't know. Since I was going to look at it, I thought I would just do a video and just show you guys my guitar. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this open. We get the right size driver here. Oh yeah, another thing I did is on the switch here, I think this guitar came with the round knob, and I put the top hat on it, which is a little easier to get your finger back on and move, I think. And yeah, I know that I'm sitting here telling you that I love this guitar, and yet I did a lot of modifications to it. It just happens, I guess. I don't know. It is Fender made a fantastic guitar. The necks on these, actually, before I pull that out of there, the necks on these things, I don't know if you see that. It's the modern C shape, so it's thin, which everybody knows that. But the satin finish on these things, these American Specials, these are fantastic necks. I mean, this is the best Fender neck, probably best guitar neck on any guitar I've ever had. So, all right, let's pop this out of here. Now I left enough wire so I could flip it up like this. And let me readjust the camera for a closer look at that. All right, here is a closer look at what I did. If you know how the new Fenders are wired, you can see that I actually did quite a bit to this. I changed the wiring to cloth wiring. This is the plate that came on it, and what I did is I actually, you know, obviously I flipped it over, but I left the controls are in the same relative position, being that this is the volume, that's the tone, which is the same way it is normally, just that they're back and the switch is up here. So that's really all I did, is put the switch to the back and move those two controls forward. I used the CTS pots on it, and I use I think this is I don't really remember what switch this is, but this is the USA made Oaks Grigsby or something, I think. Well, actually, I'm really can't remember which one I put in there. And the capacitor, if you can see that right there, that's a Goodall 0.047 microfarad. I don't know if you can. Hopefully, you can see that a little bit there. It's a vintage paper and oil job. When I decided to put that in there, I actually soldered in a couple of alligator clips and played the guitar and switched out capacitors real fast. Switched out between this and some orange drops, and just, you know, I think maybe I even tried a Bumblebee. I tried different capacitor values and everything, but this is the one I like the most. I mean, you know, there's arguments about whether, you know, obviously, you know, whether you can really hear that difference or whatever. You do hear a lot of difference between capacitance values inside of the same capacitance value, like, you know, between, you know, like a range of 047 caps. There's definitely not a lot of difference in them, but I could hear a little bit, and I like that one, so I put that in there. But, you know, just taking a look at this, it seems fine. I don't think it really moved at all. The thing is when this pot is loose, which it is now, it can go like that when you're turning your volume knob, and, you know, you could break some solder joints. But it doesn't look like I have broken anything in there. So I'm actually just gonna tighten that back up and hold it, and if I can get my wrench on it. Geez, that's quite a bit loose. So I'll just tighten it down a little bit. Some bump in the microphone. And that looks good to me. Although I know the wiring looks kind of haywire with the because I left so much length on it, but I did that so I could flip it over and service it just like I'm doing right now. Put that back in there, and everything fits snug. There's, you know, Fender left a little route in there about where the capacitor is, so I was able to drop it in there pretty easy, even though that's a bigger one. Okay. Now what I do with my knobs here is I have the little the set screw hole. I actually put that, if you can see the angle here, if you can kind of see it on that one there. I put that sort of at an angle coming this way, and what that does is when I'm wearing the guitar and I'm looking down, I'll look right at that screw hole from this angle. I mean, that's kind of the angle you look kind of across the pickup here, and you'll be staring straight at the set screw hole if you've got your volume all the way up. If your volume's all the way down, the set screw holes are forward. So I use that as a volume indicator or a tone indicator, as is the case here. You know, usually I roll that set screw hole back towards the switch like that. That's a good sound on this guitar. So all I'm going to do is just turn that all the way up. Well, I got a good screwdriver here, geez. Turn it all the way up, and I'm gonna find a good angle here to match them up. And set that, so put that knob back on there. Feels pretty good. You can definitely feel the difference in wear. You know, obviously I use the volume knob much more, because it definitely feels much looser than the tone control. But yeah, that's it. Not really much of a repair or anything. It was just checking it out. Can't play guitar with it laying down. Alright, so that's back together now. And like I said, you know, you can just, when you're got it in a playing position, you just look right down and see that those screw holes, I mean, I'm usually wide open. Maybe roll the tone back a little on it. The top hat switch is real easy to switch on it. Hold this up closer, you can get a little better look. Glendale saddles, those things have been good. They worked out fine. A little better on the intonation. And you can see the staggered pole pickups, the Klein's 67s, which the pickups on this guitar are not staggered pole. Great sounding pickups, especially the neck. It sounds really good on this thing. A little view of the frets. They're still Fender puts so much lacquer on these things that you can see there's still like lacquer's like chipping off of these frets still. It actually needs it just about needs a fret job right now. It's getting some wear on it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take it to somebody, have them do it. I pretty much just stick to doing electronics, and I'll do the setup on it, which I'm not afraid to do that. It's got easy setup on it because the truss rod screws there. But that's it. Just having a little look-see at my number one guitar, my Fender Telecaster. I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for watching my videos. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Here in a couple days, it's going to be the 1 year anniversary of Do It Yourself Musician, and I'll definitely have a video up for that. And I'll have an announcement for that too, special announcement on that day. All right, thanks for tuning in. Thumbs up if you like this, and please hit the subscribe button. Appreciate it.